The Apple Vision Pro is out, ladies and gentlemen. It's like a $500 piece of equipment that is insane. It's bulky. It looks silly as hell. And yet, tech reviewers and tech YouTubers and dudes who just love tech, they are trying to make it work. Or not $500. What am I saying? It's like $4,000. I was wrong. It's $3,500. If it was $500, it would be kind of more worth, I think. I forgot. You're right. I don't know why I said $500.
Like what?
That's
Do I
wild.
look like real?
Yeah, I mean, your eyes are close. There's too much teeth, I think. I don't know.
I want to make a review. Come help me.
All right, sounds good.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is so bad. I've seen so many people talk about this, like, and talk this up as though like the Vision Pro FaceTiming with the Vision Pro is great, and it's like, no, it's not. It's terrifying. Burn it with a fire type shit. It's literally PS2 graphics. I feel like he had to wear that high visibility jacket because like he's walking around with that thing, and I don't feel safe. I feel like he needs people to be like, hey guys, watch out. I can't really see that good.
Get a random pile of bricks, an old toilet.
I found the restroom.
And a bunch of random wooden poles.
There's more poles.
I love having this $3,500 machine on my brain so I can watch Mr. Beast videos while I wait for the trailer. Okay, my controversial opinion on the matter. Are you guys ready for it? Wearable tech will only get like broad usage when it is a reasonable price point, and also beyond that is not as bulky. That's it. Like, it needs to be so much smaller. If it was like regular glasses like the ones you wear, and that still somehow was able to do augmented reality, and it was like $500, then yeah, okay, that's valid. Because I do see the utility in this. But it needs to have, yeah, and good battery life. It needs to have good battery life. It needs to be actually fucking wearable and not like this big ass bulky weird dystopian thing. Everyone, wait, what? What do you mean? Everyone hated the AirPods when they came out. No, the AirPods do all of the things that I just mentioned. Nobody made fun of the AirPods at all. People hated the aux removal. Oh, maybe that could be the reason. I don't know, but yeah, no, it was small. It had pretty decent battery life, and it was actually very good. Like, the AirPods are super high quality. I'm not an audio pervert, so don't yell at me for this, but they're pretty high quality, and it's like super seamless too. You just boom, put it on, and it automatically it works really well with the iPhone, with the Apple products. We abuse people who wore Google Glasses. I think that this is like way too fat, is what I mean. It's way too fat. It's way too bulky. I don't know what the battery life looks like. We can watch the Marcus Brownlee video to get a better understanding of it. But like, it's just, you know, remember Snapchat glasses? I do. I got them. I have Snapchat. I had Snapchat glasses. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay, come on, dog. At least use your Apple Watch or something. I mean, he's just demonstrating how stupid that is, right? One of the things I hate about a lot of this stuff is that I think that like we are losing sight of why, losing sight of why we have like haptic feedback on a lot of things. I think that like haptic feedback is very important. Touch is very important, both as a, just like as what makes us human, but also beyond that, like there is the, muscle memory. Like there's a reason why keyboards have buttons on them, right? You memorize it and you don't have to look down, and it makes it much easier with your muscle memory to be able to type. And I feel as though like, you know, like the Tesla-ification of utilizing touchpads everywhere is genuinely ass. There's a reason we went back to mechanical from rubber dome, even a distinction that fine is relevant. There's certain things, in my opinion, that have to be like this. People say the same thing about the first iPhone keyboard. The future will leave you behind. You will be a boomer using his BlackBerry phone with a physical keyboard. I mean, I use the iPhone keyboard, but it's not great. Obviously, like the keyboard that you have is significantly better than an iPhone keyboard. And if you were doing something like using your computer, you would not use anything but a like real keyboard. Also, the Apple keyboard itself also kind of has like some level of like something that is still tactile, I guess, and has like some kind of haptic feedback as well. I am a firm believer that the iPads in cars is genuinely troublesome. It's not good. Something to consider here is that you definitely should, in cars, you definitely need that kind of thing. You need knobs, you need buttons, you need all of that. You definitely need all of that. And I feel like in vehicles especially, the reason why they take that stuff out is a cost adjustment for profits, for profit margins. People, I don't think, realize that. I think people think like, oh no, this is a cool thing, it looks cool. It's like, no, you need knobs, because the entire point of muscle memory is that you don't actually take your eyes off the road to like touch anything. No, you don't, when you can just say things to the car. Also wrong, because again, the more mechanical things remain, the better it is. The more analog things are, the better it is as a fail-safe, redundancy. These are very important things in vehicles. Nobody looks at a light switch before flicking it. It will always be better than a screen where you have to look before you tapping it. Yeah. The thing I'm talking about with cars is 100% correct. It's because screens are cheaper than buttons and knobs and all that shit now. Yes, that absolutely is the reason. But like I was saying, I'm not even talking about like, oh, things feel weird now. Back in my day, things felt good. I'm simply stating there's a reason why, for example, Boeing planes have like, what is it called? Fly-by-wire. Obviously not the greatest example to make here, because like their track record for other stuff hasn't been great. There's a reason why in airplanes, for example, you have like multiple redundancies built in. Or sorry, Airbus has fly-by-wire. Boeing has like the mechanical suspensions, I think. But regardless, you need to have like genuine haptic feedback and tactile, like a feeling, so you can have muscle memory and have things run analog for situations where all else fails. And yes, it is not a Luddite opinion to think buttons are superior in vehicles. There's legislation about this in the EU. Yeah, it's a limitation that we as humans, the tech needs to adapt to us, not the other way around, for safety. Why do you need to have them? You need to have them because you need to have them for safety, and you need to have them for efficiency, and you need to have them specifically so you don't have to shift your attention away to another screen. When you're doing something that requires all of your attention, like driving a 3,000-pound death machine around pedestrians, you need to never have your eyes off the fucking wheel, off the goddamn the road. You have to look at the road. You have to have your hands on the wheel, and you have to have your eyes on the road. Boeing aircraft have physical linkages. Airbus is fly-by-wire. Neither of them have anything to do with physical controls, although aviation did move away from touchscreens very quickly because pilots couldn't accurately make inputs. I worked in automotive AI and automation previously, and your take on this is 100% correct.
This feels like a little glimpse into the future of what computing could be like. Do I look as ridiculous as those people make me feel like I look?
No, your eyes are glowing.
How you doing? Jordan, you're standing right in front of my Mr. Beast video. Come right there. All right, so the idea of spatial computing, it doesn't make sense to me when I'm sitting in my office. I've got multiple screens. But right now I'm like in the city. I'm in the middle of Times Square. Like this, what I've got going on right now, this is wild. It's impossible for me to imagine that you can't see what I can see. Everything seems so real, and then I can just stand up.
I mean, there is something that I do like about this, I guess, because it's like very much in line with my mentality that like I always want to be on, but I also simultaneously want to like experience the world. Which is why I've said before, like, if I had a solid, reliable, accessible Starlink connection, I would probably be able to do a lot more. Having this level of like computing power directly in front of your face is not bad, especially for someone like myself, because I am terminally online. The issue, however, in my opinion, is that this is tech specifically for early adopters who want to be at the forefront. That's it. It's just not like good enough to utilize yet. Dude, this is wild. This is literally like simulating being a schizophrenic person in public. Technically, you are hallucinating in public. Like, that's what you are doing. It's simulated psychosis. Yes. It's so weird when you think about it. No, Hassan, you just sold 10K more units. I'm not trying to sell this at all. Like, what happens when you get scared? Like, you just have to do like a quick reaction, like, and then you accidentally hit someone. I feel like that's gonna happen way more frequently. We've often talked about how like we live life now in the meat space specifically to get points in the internet, right? Going to a place so that you can post an Instagram photo that's gonna get a lot of likes is literally the exact version that every normal person even engages in now. It's not just relegated to like the online influencers and whatnot. At a certain point, maybe it was like originally the TikTokers and the, not the TikTokers, but like, you know, people who were taking photos of themselves and like only, you know, taking a perfect photo of a food before they eat it, because that was like all influencers did. Now everyone does it. 10 years later, everyone does it. Literally every human being does it. So much so that you have places in the real world specifically designed for people, like normal people, to go there, take a photo, and gain, I guess, like a little bit of social clout from their group of friends, and then consume the food. No, they don't. No, we don't. You guys are literally on Twitch, man. You are the most permanently online. You've already transcended beyond what normal people do. You just spend all of your time directly tapped in online. You don't even do shit in the fucking physical space. I'm talking about like regular people. I'm talking about a bus driver. I'm talking about a person who lives in fucking Kansas. No, it's not an LA brain take at all. You are wrong. There are plenty of normal people that do activities in the real world specifically to showcase it on the internet. We have transcended beyond like people who are influencers doing this to like normal people doing it. It's because they don't leave their house to touch grass and take a pic for Insta. That's what I mean. Exactly. My point is, a lot of people do things now, originally things that like influencers or whatever used to do. Now normal people do as well. Normies do as well, okay? Yeah, museums have like Instagram walls. Exactly. How else will my ex know that I moved on? Yeah. This is the next stage in what I'm talking about, where like, sure, I think inevitably wearables will get like mass adoption. It's just not there yet. The technology is not there yet. Augmented reality is not there yet. It's not as wearable. It's also obviously inaccessible price point wise. I think, yeah, Google Glass's problem was that it was too early. That's the issue. But I do find it really crazy that now you can bring in a seamless way, you can bring online to the real world, making you even more online so that you can experience online while you're outdoors touching grass. Obviously you could do that with your phone, but now it's like directly incorporated into your regular everyday existence. It's kind of wild.
When you take these off, they kind of go to sleep like your phone. And when you put them back on, you have to unlock them. They scan your eyeballs, and then to start screen recording, go through it takes a second. So rather than doing that, I just left these on the entire day. The like 2.5 hour battery pack you can plug into a fatter battery, so I never ran out of battery power.
That's see, that's what I mean. That's like, that is insane. Okay, that's insane jerry rigging to like specifically be able to run this for like a long ass time, way beyond like what it would normally run for.
A couple of hours of running around the streets of New York, as in not in a controlled environment, my brain sort of clicked and it just forgot that I was looking through cameras and screens, and it took what it saw as reality.
I think what he's describing is like getting comfortable with VR in general though. It's AR, yes. I'm saying that it happens in VR too. Okay, it's just VR is also wearable tech. What are you talking about? What I'm saying is like what he's experiencing is something that you experience when the first time you use VR, like you start being more comfortable in it, right? You just get used to it.
And what occurred to me as I was sitting there in Times Square on a bench, strangers all around me, the real world moving all around me. But I had like a big screen up where I was watching a Mr. Beast video. And then over here I had this keyboard that I could interact with. And over here I had my iMessages. And over here I had my Apple TV and then all of my apps. And they're floating in Times Square in the middle of New York City. They're floating there and I'm actually there. And there's actual humans around me. And in that moment, I was like, holy shit, this is it. This is the future of computing that everyone's been promising for like the last 15 years. This is something that like let me like truly peek into where all of this is going.
I don't think he's wrong. No, it's not copium. I don't think he's wrong. He's absolutely right. It's just that it's not here yet. That's it. I like when people go, it was such asocial behavior, but like that is where we are going. That is absolutely the direction that we are heading. I think that he is definitely right. I think that eventually in the next 10 years, I suspect we will start seeing way more wearable shit. It just makes sense that we are becoming even more isolated. And then the only interactions inevitably that we will have with other people are going to be just online. It's dystopian from where I'm standing. And it's probably dystopian for you as well, because we're a little bit older and we lived in a world where we lived in a world where internet was not readily available. I did, at least. And I lived in a world where I did not have a smartphone until I was 18 years old. Think about that. I didn't have a smartphone until I was 18 years old. I think that that's the direction that we're heading towards. And I don't think you have to be like truly prophetic to recognize that.
This isn't the future of AR or VR. I think this is the future interface for all computing. I think when they figure out how to make these not be these heavy $4,000 metal ski goggles, but maybe they look like these glasses or something even smaller.
Yeah.
That is what it'll be. In the morning, you won't remember your phone. You put it on, and then that's it. And it's like, hold on, I've got a call. Hey, what's up, Mom? I'll call you back. You look great, by the way. And that's what it's going to look like. And these show you that. These reveal that.
Chat is talking about editing Excel spreadsheets. You might not do that. Some people might, but you're forgetting how much time you spend on your phone. The amount of time you spend on your phone is what you would do with the wearable tech instead. And it would probably even increase. There's a meme about how you can tell a millennial from a Gen Z by what device they use to send an important email. Millennials prefer to send it from a laptop or PC rather than their phone. Yeah. Exactly. And then we will inevitably move into Butlerian jihad as a consequence of the AI technology becoming way too intrusive. I don't think that interacting with human beings online will ever be a decent substitute for interacting with human beings in the real world, going outside. And I don't think that these glasses will make us go outside more. Let's say if they were easily accessible, cheaper, and very wearable. Okay, I'm talking like 10 years into the future. When we get to a point when these things are easy to use, it's not going to make us go outside and fucking interact with one another in the real world. It's going to make us further isolated. It's a way to bring the internet into the meat space. It's like the next step in our evolution towards being able to avoid the top of the hour ad break. Like, you'll be able to sit at the subway station and watch HasanAbi broadcast, and at the top of the hour get served a 3-minute ad break and just skip it with ease in your AR augmented reality wearable technology. It's crazy. You seriously think people are just going to stop seeing each other IRL? Come on, man. There's an innate desire to have human interaction and touch. Just look at how depressed everyone got during COVID. I mean, this is like probably the worst community to talk about this sort of thing in, because we're at Twitch. Many people were already living like increasingly isolated lives, and they were already like relatively agoraphobic. People said this about Google Glass 11 years ago. Yes, Google Glass was way too ahead of the game. Google Glass's biggest issue was that it was too early. It happens. Sometimes tech is too early. I think even the Apple Vision Pro is too early. Google Glass is like the PSP. Think about the Switch, think about the Steam Deck, and then think about the PSP. The PSP had genuine limitations. It was the greatest technological marvel at the time, in my opinion, but unfortunately it was ahead of its it was too ahead, and it also had some serious limitations with the second controller. I think VR is a mature enough market at the release of AVP that any social normalization of this tech will have already basically happened. I really don't think AVP will make people suddenly think it's cool and normal in society. MetaQuest 2 plus 3 together have shipped millions of units as holiday gifts as a known space. Yeah, but it's in your house. What are you talking about? That's VR. This is bringing it outside. There is still that major difference, in my opinion, between VR and AR. Like, this is wearable tech that you wear outside. Wonder what the porn industry would do with this tech. Chatter, I don't know if you know this, but there's VR porn out there already. Don't ask me how I know that. It already exists. Porn has always historically been at the cutting edge of technology. They have always been early adopters. Isn't one of the major leaps in technology one that directly came from porn? Which one was it? I think VHS and DVD, right? Both VHS and DVD were like directly, or was it Betamax? I don't remember, but one of those things was like, yeah, porn and military technology is always at the cutting edge. Porn decided between HD DVD and Blu-ray and Betamax and VHS before that. This seems like it only works in first world countries. Yeah, there is like obviously first world countries are obviously like infinitely far ahead due to their material circumstances than third world countries. Yes. And oftentimes due to capitalism, third world countries, developing nations unironically get like the shittiest and the most like safeguarded versions of the same product. India, for example, or other like developing nations, for example, get like Facebook phones, right? They get like the shittiest version of it, where basically the entirety of the internet that you experience is walled garden. But there are also places in India where there are no fucking bathrooms, but in those very same places, motherfuckers are aware of the internet and use it from time to time, maybe like once a week. And it's kind of crazy to think about. I don't know if this is real or not. PlayStation Portable 2, the new report stating that Sony's actively working with AMD to create a new handheld. This handheld would be the same in line as something as a Steam Deck. Oh my God. I would lose my freaking mind. Okay. I think this is a meme. This is not real probably, but the PlayStation handheld device that they sold was ridiculous. God, I love this Steam Deck though. Man, it's such a good product. Ah, fuck. I ride for it so much. Gaben needs to give me a fat sponsorship, even though I'm doing it for free all day, every day. The tech is so too expensive and useless to ever be adopted where I live in a massively used way. Most people have a phone, but this is too much. My point is, Little Bear, you're in South Africa, right? A lot of income inequality. The infrastructure is obviously not in the same level as the United States of America, and it's certainly not like across the board. I suspect that if you go back to the 90s, and I can only speak on it from Turkey, right? There were places in Turkey that were also utilizing mobile phones at the same time that America was, but across the board, you were still very much using landlines, okay? Like other countries, developing nations especially, will be following the technological developments like 10 years after the fact. Like it becomes more consumable and easy to access and actually genuinely utilized and adopted by the masses, 10 years later down the line. Yeah, think about the first mobile phones, bulky, the Nokia 5150. Those things were indestructible, but they were bricks. Okay, they were absolute bricks, but it was a keystone for the new tech we have now as mobile phones. I'd say a similar keystone is here. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable that we move in this direction. But while that's happening, let's look at some of the dumb shit that people are doing with this new tech, like this guy. I mean, this is obviously a meme and incredibly dangerous, and you should never do this. There's also this. I mean, these are all memes. These are all memes. These are all memes. Obviously, this is not like real. People are just doing this for specifically the purpose of like filming it and making jokes about it. Where was the other one? Oh, here are the interesting apps and use cases so far. Learning piano with guiding tiles. Like, it's cool, but I don't think you learn that way. I don't think that's how human brains work, for the record. Like, can you learn how to play a guitar by playing Guitar Hero? A lot of people are saying no, and some people are saying yes. You're just yapping? Of course, that's what I do. I'm speaking Japanese. You're developing hand-eye coordination, maybe? I learned from Guitar Hero using just 5 buttons, but you're playing on a real piano. Yes, but there's another part about this that you need to remember. There isn't a direct like haptic feedback or direct like well, I guess like you're still instead of like pressing the strings, you're still doing it's not the same. Yeah, it's a little bit different. This is like literally on the piano straight up. Not Guitar Hero, but yes, Rocksmith. With Rocksmith you can. Yes, there's a game called Rocksmith that teaches you like a guitar but with a real guitar. You're practicing the hand movements, your brain is absolutely getting trained by this. I mean, here's a better analogy. Does painting by numbers or tracing legitimately make you a better painter or a better a person who can draw? I think that there is definitely some help that you get. You get a better feel for the mechanics. Maybe your hand becomes more steady. But I think that the real training still happens outside of the boundaries of this thing. So I'm saying that this doesn't hurt, but there's no way that this is a good substitute for like actual training. I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of like what I do know. It's like training wheels, but eventually you have to take the training wheels off to learn how to bike. Real-time captions and translation. Okay, this one's kind of cool.
Oh, that's right. How was your trip?
Het was heel mooi. We vlogen naar Barcelona en toen hebben we de trein gepakt naar het dorpje. We zijn er 3 dagen geweest en we hebben vooral heel veel lekker gegeten.
This is fucking sick. This is sick across the board. It's sick if it's like doing real-time translation. It's sick if it's actually giving you subs in real life too. But it's only one way, unlike a phone. No, this is great for like people who are hearing impaired. This is great for... This is definitely accessibility cracked out. So sad that it's a fake language that they're using to demonstrate this. So like it kind of loses its impact a little bit, but it's great for accessibility. Disney Plus experience on Vision Pro. I don't care about this. Like this is dumb. It's just yeah, dude, it's everything, okay? Everything that you can watch like this. That's so stupid. Draw to code. What is that? Oh, so much of the new apps are all like everything that has AI in it is like built on the ChatGPT foundation. And it's just, I feel like there's so much more that we need to do for this. I mean, this is also not like, none of this is exclusive to Vision Pro or being bettered by wearable technology. The two things that I've seen thus far that actually do make sense is this, learning piano with guiding tiles. It can be helpful. And most importantly, I think it's this is the best one. This is the best thing because obviously this exists on your phone. You can use like real-time translation or even devices specifically designed for it. But having it be a part of your wearable technology creates a structure where like real-time subs exists on the planet. It's great for people with hearing impairment. It's great for real-time translation. All of that stuff is awesome. Only because I'm gonna be able to go to Japan and experience it with real-time subs. Taking cooking to the next level.
Don't worry, my producers were standing by to make sure I was safe. Prepping food was really natural, especially... I could cut onions all day in this. My eyes do not burn. This is amazing. But the absolute best thing, so I see the timer here, and now I can move it over the pasta, and now I have a second timer for 6 minutes that I'm putting over the mushrooms. This is just the coolest. Was it perfect? No.
God damn it, dude. Come on.
You're still looking at life on a screen. In low light, I couldn't read things with smaller print because of pixelation. Is there even pepper coming out? I cannot see it. And some stuff just didn't look like the right color.
Okay, that part is... It is cool, though. Why are you being such a hater? No, that's crazy. A $3,500 headset with timers? Like, dude, are you kidding me? That's just like, you're hyper-focusing on the novelty of it, which will, I promise you, not be utilized at all. This too, like this is fun and I feel like it can translate to better things and not specifically this. This is kind of weird. Immersive memories, like that's also kind of weird. I don't really understand it. Like, I don't really understand what kind of impact this will have on our lives. This is kind of dystopian. People still read physical paper books, even though ebooks and e-readers are the most convenient and successful replacement. People just like tactile objects. I agree. And I don't think anything substitutes for a legitimate book, even though people swear by it to me and I don't understand it. I will never licking your finger and like turning the page. That shit is like, it's undefeated.
Apple Vision Pro, at its core, well, it is a VR headset. Now, Apple would never say that, and they probably won't like that I'm saying that word. You know, I made an entire video about why they refuse to use those words, and they're calling it spatial computing instead.
There's nothing funnier than trying to cut through the noise and trying to be like, no, this is not a bulky and very restrictive piece of technology. It's spatial computing. It's not AR or VR. It's something different, because like everything you know about AR and VR is that it's like, it's bulky wearable technology that is like very limited, except it doesn't matter what you call it. It's $4,500, dog, or $4,000. Who gives a shit? You already limited it dramatically. You already paywalled it to a certain degree where it's like, back in the day, you could buy like a 91 Honda Civic. I remember a Jetta, a Volkswagen Jetta that was like $3,000. I bought this in like, when the fuck did I buy it? I mean, it was an old one. It was like a 91 Jetta. And I bought it in like 2010 or something. And I bought it for like fucking $2,000 or something. And it was just, you can still buy a car. It barely works, but you could buy a car at that price point, and it fucking feels insane that like the thing you put on your head is the same price.
And then when you get a little further back on this band here, these little pods with downward facing grills, these are speakers, which are pointed straight at your ears and work surprisingly well. Though of course it also means that people around you can hear a little bit of what you're hearing. There's a little.
You can't be gooning in public, boys. You can't goon in public. Everyone's going to hear. Everyone is going to be hearing Skybree moaning. If you try to goon in public, they're going to know.
Now, famously already, the battery life with this included battery is not super long on this headset. 2 to 4 hours is actually realistic for what you can expect for just like this built-in battery. But that's also kind of right in line with a lot of other VR headsets. Battery life on VR headsets is not that great in general. If you do want to use it longer, the only way to do that is there's a USB-C port on the battery and you have to plug the battery in. So you could plug the battery into the wall for infinite battery life, or I guess you could plug it into like you could daisy chain another battery into the other pocket or something for even longer.
Just ruin the battery by trickle charging it. I don't. It's just the battery life is so bad. I wanted to see if it was good or not. That's all I wanted to see is just what he had to say about the battery. This shit can't be good for your brain regarding long-term health. No, I agree. I don't think it's good for your brain, even in the short term. But I do suspect that like in the next 10 to 20 years, like this is the direction we're gonna move towards. How long until we are going to see people wearing this outside? How weird is it seeing people casually wear these shits outside? Well, it's kind of like the Cybertruck, right? People think it's sick. People get excited about it. Those people are lame for the most part. I think it sucks and it's ugly. My point overall for this entire thing is that this is the future. It's just way, way too early for this to be like mass adopted. This product itself is not the product for mass adoption, if that makes sense. Like this is not the product for it. This is not the time for it. This is not the product for it. It will get there. And if you think that this is not going to happen, you're wrong. I'm telling you, it definitely will.